recording? Okay. So, I've got this set up. So, there are 4 slides per character. There's their name, their basic power, some facts about them, and how important they are to the series. Because that is not immediately obvious, based on, like, their prevalence in the fandom.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, I know this bitch, I don't know this bitch, and have to guess shit about them that I do or don't already know.
Okay. Yep. So, so the powers in this are kind of like JoJo powers, where they're very specific. Where it's like, oh, this is a power to do this thing. This is and it's like it's tied to their person. So, what do you think Reimu's power is?
Fuck. Despite her being like the Reimu, the motherfucker, like bitches, this bitch be fucking everywhere. I don't know a damn thing about her power, and so I'm gonna guess it has. It's probably like because she's a shrine maiden. It's probably like some divine shit where she can fucking exercise shit.
Yeah, that's part of it. So, she can fly.
That I knew.
Which everyone in Touhou can fly, but Reimu's power specifically allows her to fly away from reality and to fly through life. Or to float through. I believe it's specifically to float. To float away from reality and become intangible. To float through life. It's meaning if she doesn't pay attention to things, she'll just have naturally good luck.
Why did they put this bitch in Smash then? She can fucking transcend reality. Where the fuck she at?
Look, the Nintendo Direct is tomorrow. On this being recorded, if she is the 6th Fighter Pass 2 character, I will scream.
Imagine.
Okay, and she has some powers specific to the Hakurei Shrine. The one that I always remember is to eat sweets without getting fat, which sounds stupid, except she consistently has the smallest hitbox as a player character.
I mean, hey, if it works, it works.
And yeah, I don't think they're specific to her, but she does have like exorcism like stuff with her various tools, like her needles and whatnot. So what do you know about her?
She's like the protagonist of like every other fucking game. It's either her or Marisa, because I know a lot of like Touhou games apparently have like where it's like you can play as Reimu or you can play as Marisa. Sometimes there's a third character you can play as, or if it's not those two, it is someone set in specific entirely, and occasionally you get that third option or whatever the fuck. I really don't know much about her besides everyone thinks this bitch is a mischievous little shit.
Okay, so Reimu is she's basically defined by whose point of view it is. Because in the series Forbidden Scrollery, which is from another human in the human village's perspective, she's seen pretty grumpily. She like exercises a dude because he's trying to become a yokai because it would threaten the natural order. But like it's not like seen as like, oh, it's not seen as, oh, you've done this terrible thing. It's sort of seen as her being a bitch, even though it is like the right thing to do. But then some other series where she's the point of view character, she's very like lax and goofy. In the games themselves, there's this good progression of wow, I hope this isn't an incident, to wow, I hope if there's an incident, it's at least something interesting.
Yeah.
And then you like, well, you've already talked about it, but yeah, she is playable in she is in basically every single. She's missing one appearance in a spin-off game.
Mm-hmm.
She is almost otherwise entirely universal. So this is Marisa.
This fucking bitch. I see more of this bitch than I do of Reimu sometimes. The Final Fantasy server I live on, there's a like diehard Marisa cosplayer who stands in Limsa Laminsa every day playing fucking Touhou songs, for God's sake. Okay, but yeah, this bitch, other protagonist. She's a witch, so she's probably got some basic ass magic, and I know she can fly on a broom and shit. And yeah, personality. she's more of a menace than Reimu is. And Reimu's not much of a menace in the first place, besides kind of dumb. But this bitch is a menace from what I know. Like, there's many songs that make her out to be a fucking menace.
Okay, so she doesn't have like a power to use X or power of manipulating X, but she can use magic, which is like a learnable thing in universe. But she is a human. She is not a magician species. We will be getting to those.
Oh boy.
She's very proud. She is loud. She's rude. She's crude. She's a thief. She's a liar.
Habitual thief. We knew that one. Thanks, Marisa stole the precious thing.
Yeah. She borrows books from Patchouli under the justification of, well, you're gonna outlive me, so when I die, you can just take them all back. And she runs a magic store in the Forest of Magic, but the Forest of Magic is infamously difficult to traverse, so she doesn't really get much service.
Dumb ass.
Yeah, she's also pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, like, informal and likes to steal books and get information from the books, but she seems so fucking stupid at this
That does sort of define Touhou that, like, everyone is stupid.
They're all ancient and superpowered and have vast amounts of knowledge, but are they smart? No.
Yeah. Okay, and her presence in series is also universal. She actually hit that one instance where Reimu was missing as the extra boss of that one spin-off game.
Huh. Interesting.
She's
Give me
always
2 seconds. Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. I got texted to go fucking pick up a package.
She is always the power to Reimu's ease of access, where, you know, she's got homing, she's got small hitbox, she's low on power. Marisa's gonna kill things faster, but her shots are all straightforward.
And one of them was in fact mine.
Gucci.
Okay, Patchouli. This bitch, I don't know anything about her role. I see her a lot, and I think she's very pretty, because as I do with purple themed characters, because she's like pastel and purpley and all that shit.
Purple is my favorite color!
Yeah. That fucking Eric Andre bit about,
What if it was
see
purple?
Let's see purple. Yeah! There's like a fucking figurine statue of this bitch that I want, and I don't even fucking play these games. She's a cool character design. What do I know about this bitch? I have a feeling that her powers do something with the moon, because I don't know if you can see it here, but she has that little moon on her hat and some of her designs. This bitch reads a lot and she sleeps a lot. That's all I know about her.
Okay, so her
But
power...
she appears decently often, as far as I know.
Her power is the manipulation of the Chinese Wu King, I believe. It's either Wu Qing?
Wu Xing.
Yeah.
Wu
Which
Xing.
is, fire elements, fire, wood, metal, water, I forget what the fifth one is. God, I should have, like, had the wiki open in the background. Oh, well. But also,
Just in case.
but also, the quote, sun and moon elements, she has 7 elements, and she's thus known as the 7-day magician. And also, she can just use magic, again. Magician. She's a magician yokai. She is a very reclusive person, although much like a lot of these people, meeting Reimu and Marisa has pushed them out into the spotlight a bit more. And she is very physically weak.
Okay, that's explaining why she's always depicted like dead and fucking asleep.
Yeah, she is asthmatic, she is anemic, she has a vitamin A deficiency.
They really be like, I'm gonna make these bitches ancient and immortal, but like they got mental illness, they got shit wrong with them, they're alcoholics, they got fucking medical issues.
They're every one of this series is alcoholic, and I'm pretty sure it's just because Zune draws like everyone. Zune's style does not show adulthood that well. But there's
yeah, I've noticed.
there is one minor in this series, and she is not very common, but she is not the least common we'll be seeing on this list.
Yeah.
She's in the fighters, which is cool. She beats people up with a book.
Makes sense.
Okay. Next, Remilia.
This bitch. She has a giant fucking mansion with her twin sister, Flandre. She is a vampire as far as I fucking know. All I know is that she's potentially the less shitty of the two twins.
Okay.
But they're both kind of evil a little bit still.
All right. And what would you say her power is?
Part of me wants to say based on what I know, what Flandre's shit is probably some vampire sapping type shit, and then some throwing sharp shit type shit.
Okay, so she has vampiric abilities, but her specific power is the manipulation of fate. This is extremely, extremely loosely defined, and may in fact just be her boasting, but it's never been seen in like proper action. But it's also probably just because you need like a game.
Mm-hmm.
She's polite and also childish, but she has this she has this facade of being this refined older like aristocrat basically. It's a bit of a fandom meme based on her crouching animation in one of the fighters that she basically is she has charisma break mode where she's just like tiny and weak and like scared. She eats very light and very messy, where she'll basically open a wound and drink some of the blood and then just kind of let the guy bleed, but she won't kill, generally.
She's just like, I just need a little snack. Fucking tears apart a person. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And yeah, that's why she's the Scarlet Devil, because she bleed.
The Scarlet Devil. That's a terminology I've heard before.
Yeah.
Before, yes.
She got that whole mansion for like 5 people and a fucking ton of fairy maids.
Fair enough.
And as for her importance in the series, she basically is, she's not super relevant in the games themselves, but a related character is very relevant, and she basically shows up in her endings.
Fair enough.
Sakuya.
This bitch. Dio-based head ass.
Yeah.
Time stopper head ass. Throwing knives head ass. Fucking... She's if I recall correctly, she's the Scarlet Sisters' maid. Very, very normal as a person, but like very much like her powers are like Dio level menacing. And if I do recall, she is a playable character for a couple games, I want to say. And if I recall, this is the bitch who has Night and Nights for her theme.
Yeah, Night and Nights.
Or maybe
Night and Nights is her whatever. It's her theme in the fighters.
Word. Okay, baller. Yeah, that's what I know about Sakuya.
Okay, so her power is manipulation of time. What this is also pretty loosely defined because in at least one manga it's defined as her just moving very, very fast with no mass. But that's stupid and I ignore it. In another official text, it's explained that she also has manipulation of space because time and space are inherently connected.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very least, she can stop time, and she does throw knives. She's extremely Dio-inspired. Zuna's a JoJo nerd.
As he should be. I don't even watch JoJo, but I respect when people have taste.
Yeah. Like, the way these powers work is extremely like, oh yeah, this is... Zune read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
and was like copy paste onto a small woman.
Yeah. She's the head maid of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. She has an army of small fairy maids, but they are completely incompetent, and she is basically the one who does all the work. She knows how to have fun, she can pull pranks, she can be goofy, but she's also like almost obsessively polite. At least in conversation. She's also like at two separate points she's like, let me open up this. Or at one point she's like, oh, we're on a spaceship, let me open up a window just to, it's kind of stuffy in here. And at another point she's like, right, oxygen. Remind me what that is again? Which, like, I suppose is something you don't really think about in a kind of, like a sort of pre-tech world like this.
Yeah.
And she's a somewhat frequent player character. There are like 2 or 3 characters who kind of rotate as player C. And Sakuya is one of them. And then if there's a player D, it's always a wild card. Yeah, she's the first 2 fighters where she is very much just like, oh, she throws knives, she stops time. So, I'm pretty sure Zune would just like, if he had the opportunity, he would just remake Heritage to the Future himself. Okay. Flandre.
All right, the bigger menace of the Scarlet Sisters, the bigger menace. Part of the reason I know she's a bigger menace too is not because of just her whole fucking scene in Bad Apple, but like the bitch with UN Owen was her as her fucking theme. The song that just basically takes the Death Waltz and just makes it even more baller. If I recall correctly, this bitch also throws sharp shit, and she's also a vampire. But she's a bigger asshole as far as I know.
So,
I've seen her depicted as a yandere a few times for some reason.
So, this will be fun. So Flandre's power is to destroy things. She's described this as basically being able to see something's core through her eyesight, and if she reaches out her hand and crushes the core, it's just destroyed. Also, she's a vampire still. But as a power, she is like, or as a person, she is extremely like normal. Like she stays. She was locked in the basement because Remilia was scared for power, but she stays there because she's brought food. She doesn't have to go into the sun, and she's pretty awkward around people, probably from being locked in the basement. So
oh my god, she's a neat.
Yeah. She is somewhat prone to violent tendencies, but like for the most part, she's extremely normal. Like she is more normal than other characters on this list. And despite her prevalence in fan works, she is close to irrelevant. She was a bonus boss. She's an extra chase boss in one game, and all of this character information was not known until an official manga recently. A very good one, but it's on hiatus now. I'm sad.
Damn, rip.
Youmu.
I do not know a lot about this bitch. I feel like she's been a player character before. Obviously deals with ghosts and shit. But here's what I'm getting just from her character art and what I've seen of her alone is like this bitch does not willingly see ghosts, but she's just kind of embraced it as her thing at this point. That's what I'm getting from her.
Interesting.
I've definitely seen her show up as an enemy and a player character before, I feel like, in bits and pieces I've absorbed.
Right.
She's not of a particularly strong personality, I guess. She looks like the kind to take herself seriously.
Interesting.
Oh no. Oh
Okay.
no.
So, her power, she doesn't have, she's another one who doesn't really have, like, a specific, power of blank, but she's one of the most skilled swordsmen in Gensokyo, specifically,
Yeah.
probably,
Struck me as. Yeah.
probably the strongest who is not, supernaturally empowered. She's, diligent, but also stupid. Actual quote, oh no, Lady Yuyuko, it's completely dark when I close my eyes. She's very gullible. She's afraid of the dark. She's afraid of ghost stories. At one point, she was mistaken for a hermit and then proceeded to believe, oh shit, what if I'm a hermit? She's a half ghost. Don't ask me how that works. I don't know, and it is not explained.
It's don't worry about it.
It just is, you know. Don't worry about it. Her father was also a half ghost.
What the fuck was he then? Fucking Casper? Like how was this bitch made?
I don't know. But that white ball of ectoplasm floating behind her is her ghost half.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, this bitch just kind of rocking with her ghost shit.
She is a semi-frequent player C. Yuyuko.
Okay. Also, ghost shit. And I have a feeling because she's a little more ghosty looking, and she's also probably an actual whole-ass ghost, judging by the little stupid... Well, not stupid, but the triangle thing that we see ghosts get depicted with on her head. She strikes me as kind of a bitch. Kind of a bitch, and she knows it. She's like fully and willingly a cunt.
Okay, so Yuyuko is
she's an enemy too. At some point, that I know.
She's got the power to invoke death. And she has some sort of power over spirits. Like some, how do I put that? Like there are some rogue spirits that she's able to like control and interrogate. But for the most part, she invokes death. She says you die, or she says jump, you say how high.
Fair enough.
She has possibly the most comedically tragic backstory out of any character in the series, where she was a human who discovered her power, and she was so traumatized that she killed herself and sealed herself under a giant evil tree. And then when she woke up as a ghost, she was like, I wonder what's under this giant evil tree. Let's steal a bunch of spring, like the season, to figure this out.
This bitch stole the whole season. She was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I want to fuck around and find out. Here goes.
Okay. She's very goofy, but she's also she's very perceptive. She was able to basically fuck up the closest thing to a capital G god had for a plan. And she was able to see, like, this is a weird incident. I know exactly who did it and where you should go. Let's see.
When the comedic relief character is also the seasoned guide character.
Yeah, pretty much. She is she was a final boss, and then she was in the fighters, and then one time she was a stage 1 boss, which is very weird and something I think about a lot, where she's like one of the strangest trajectories for a character, where she went from final boss to stage 1 boss, and it's just something I bring up whenever I talk about Yuyuko. And then she also, much like Remilia Scarlet, she shows up in Yomo's endings whenever she's a player C.
Fair enough. She's just like, I will be a little less of a bitch this time by being a stage one.
She's also hungry. She
I respect that.
She threatened to eat a bird character alive, or potentially kill her and eat her.
I mean, hey, why not? Free turkey.
Komachi.
I don't know anything about this girl, but she strikes me as someone who could be a farmer, but she's like, instead of being a farmer, I will simply go be an asshole. And then go back to my farming bouts, maybe, if I feel like it.
That is one of the most interesting guesses you've had so far. So Komachi can manipulate distance, and she has control of departed spirits. If that gives you any, that changes your guess any.
I love Touhou's powers. Manipulation of distance, she's just like, I don't want to fucking walk, and just yeets the fucking horizon and pulls it. Like, Touhou be like, alright, we can't give these people normal powers. We can, like, make them throw fire at each other and shit. Yeah, sure, but, we're gonna make it really specific. You want to control, how much people get sick? You want to control, how far away something is? You want to control, fucking physics? Fuck it.
Yeah, she uses it for a very funny reason, because she is Gensokyo's, presumably one and only Shinigami. She comes to spirits and says, hey, your time is up, I'm here to take you to the afterlife. But she's also pretty lazy. She chats with the spirits that she's taking across the Sanzu River, which is River Styx analog.
That's right, the fucking boat from Bad Apple. I'm dumb.
Yeah, she's on a boat, and she brings people across the River Styx. She manipulates the length of the River Styx based on the spirit in question's sins, if it brought any payment for her, if it I forget what else it is, but also based on her own mood at the time. If she's grumpy, she's just like, oh yeah, you're getting a longer trip, asshole. She comes to beat up Celestials because they have basically immortal life, or eternal life. And she comes to beat them up, but they can beat her up in return, which is pretty common. And she's actually not at liberty to take a life. She can basically only deal with those who are already dead. Her scythe is also for show.
Oh my god.
It is.
She's just like, hey, I'm here so you know that it's your... Hey, this shit, I could be fighting you with it. No. It's just so you know that I'm the Grim Reaper, bitch. Get on this fucking boat. We going.
Yeah. It is just to put the deceased and like basically just let them know, like, oh, I'm dead. I'm seeing the Shinigami. This is unfortunate.
I have no idea what her roles in the games are. She probably is like a side character in a couple games.
So after showing up once as a boss character, she was weirdly in the second fighter. Because she's there to deal with a Celestial, which is weird because her boss isn't there. Speaking of her boss, this is her boss. This is...
Touhou characters really just be like really normal name, and then you got a bitch with like 3 fucking names. Like,
her name is Iki. Her surname is Shiki. She is the Yamazanadu of Gensokyo.
All right. This bitch. Okay. This bitch deals in fate. She's like, alright, like, I have to make sure I know where everyone the fuck is, where they should be. I need to make sure nobody, like, fucks up any major history events. And I'm basically the mayor by making sure y'all stop absolutely fucking shit up.
You're not too far off. She has the ability to judge things clearly as good or evil, black or white. So she's like
no
that.
wonder she does the split screen in Bad Apple. Okay.
Yeah. And her word is law because she is the judge of the dead. Komachi brings spirits to her to be judged as good or evil, whether they continue the cycle of reincarnation or whether they ascend to a higher place. She's pretty preachy, but she basically is like, oh, I have to be a bitch because I don't want people to go to hell, because if hell gets full, that's a problem.
Fair enough.
She preaches to people on her breaks. That wooden rod that she uses, it was mentioned that at one point it was discarded upon use and is now recyclable. So that's the lore you get from this series.
Oh my god. I imagine she definitely just, like, is a boss at some point. You pull up and you're like, I'm trying to do other shit besides be judged today. And she's like, I need you to like, know what a fucking bitch you are. What a dumbass you are. I need to tell you so you don't go to hell. And you're like, stop! I need to go somewhere else. And that's why I imagine her role in the games is.
She didn't. She's never shown up. She's never shown up in a game since her first appearance. Although she has one of the best IOSYS songs, where she basically is just it's like 4.5 minutes of her just saying your waifu is shit.
God bless her.
Also, Fate of 60 Years is a fucking banger. It is a top tier song in the series.
That is one I haven't heard.
Oh, it's so good.
I should start, like, naming songs I know that these bitches are in.
Okay. Fujiwara no Mokou.
I feel like this bitch just doesn't really do a lot. I've seen her, I think I've seen her be a playable character once. I think I've seen her be an enemy once. This bitch don't want to be in the position to fight. She doesn't look like she's just trying to mind her fucking business. She looks like she likes to go on walks, but she's a hardy girl who will beat your ass if you try and give her the smoke.
You're not that far off, honestly. So her powers are very loosely defined. She doesn't seem to have any sort of inherent power, but she has some sort of manipulation of fire, and it's not really clear if that's her Danmaku, which is just like Danmaku is basically like it's not actually weaponry or any sort of like offensive power. It is literally a game. It was designed for humans and yokai to be able to fight without actually killing each other.
Fair enough.
So she has some amount of fire manipulation, but it might honestly just be like her like it's very unclear, unfortunately. But she's also immortal, entirely. She was granted immortality by the Horai Elixir, and the next couple characters are all inextricably tied to each other, so it'll be gone over as it comes. She's the child to the real historical Fujiwara no Fuhito, which very weirdly actually means she is likely distantly related to Yuyuko. But that's a tangent.
Oh yeah, that's right. Princess Kaguya is like an actual canonical character in Touhou.
Oh yeah. So Mokou swore revenge on Kaguya for humiliating her father for the impossible requests, and she stole the Horai Elixir, which is its own surprisingly detailed story. But she drank it and became immortal. And then basically she and Kaguya proceeded to kill each other every day for several thousand years, potentially. And it was, at first it was like, we Engi, we fight. I want revenge on you. But that sort of just kind of became a way to air out their other grievances, and she's pretty chill now.
She's just balling. Yeah, she's like, all right, I've had my fun beating the fuck out of this bitch. If she wants to smoke, I'll give her the smoke. But I'm a chill in my woods.
Yeah, she she is not like super social, but she'll listen patiently to anyone who comes by your way as she guides them through the bamboo forest. She runs a yakitori stand, or at least she claims to.
A queen who can cook, truly remarkable.
And her immortality is like extremely thorough. She is barred from the cycle of life and death. She is barred from access to Hakugyokuro. That's it. Which is like the world of the dead, which otherwise living people can access. She, even if you were to literally disassemble her to an molecular level, she would regenerate. And the contents of the elixir exist in her liver forever. So if you were to eat her liver, you would also become immortal. But that would not make her mortal.
What the fuck? This bitch is like, this bitch really be out here like, you can't kill me, you can't kill me. Why would you want to anyways? I'm just selling some fucking meat on a stick in a goddamn stand in the woods.
Yeah. And her presence in series, she was in the most recent Fighters. She was originally going to be in the second Fighter as well, but, things happened.
Fair enough.
Let's see here. Next. Kane.
One bitch. This is one bitch.
Correct.
And she's... Sometimes she's normal and sometimes she's a fucking demon.
She is both.
Do I know why? Yeah, she is both of these bitches. The green one's the demon, obviously. She's probably just a pretty normal person when she's in that blue form. She strikes me as a massive like menace in that green form. She's just like, all right, who wants to smoke? She probably has a boss battle in her like green form, but then like she's probably just a side character in that blue form. Powers. She strikes me as having something like either fiery or telekinetic going on.
So Keine Kamishirasawa is she can create history. She can create history as her Hakutaku form, which is the one on the right, and she conceals history as a human. What does creating history mean? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Touhou power moment, where it's just like, let's just say something really abstract and people will think it's fucking cool.
This is not the first project I've done that requires an intense amount of research for in these characters. I looked so hard into trying to find out what the fuck creating history means, and I have gotten no answers.
Zin's just like, I'm gonna make this really intricate sounding power. Will I tell you anything about it? No.
But concealing history is pretty normal. Like, the only example that was used was she was able to conceal the human village from view and from access to people who were not already in the know. She's a were Hakutaku, which is to say, are you aware of like the Baize?
Baize, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard of it before, but
do you know Absol, the Pokemon?
Yeah.
Same sort of deal.
Yeah.
They are predictors of like natural calamities and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
She becomes a Hakutaku under the full moon. She's a stage 3 boss as a human, but a stage extra boss or a stage extra mini boss as a Hakutaku. She's one of Mokou's only like friends, and she teaches a class in the human village. I don't have much to say about her because she's pretty much irrelevant.
Fair enough.
18.
This bitch has one of the best songs in existence. Oh my god. Well, not the one where it's just people chanting her name. The other one that's saying from her perspective. The Aaron's clinic that people line up all the way to the moon for. Right. The song title is it because it's really fucking long for some reason. She's a nurse. She's a nurse and she's an archer, and I believe she has some star or moon related powers as well. She's her clinic's the only one in Gensokyo as far as I know. And to put it simply, if you come to her and you're like, no, I'm fine, and she's like, no, I know better than you, and I don't care what the fuck you thought you were gonna get for treatment. I'm going to do like some bullshit, even if you don't like it.
So Eirin is, she has the power to make any drug given their ingredients. She created a pill that can give the user good dreams or bad dreams, such that they could potentially never wake up. She is, let's see here. What's the other funky thing about her? She also created the Hourei elixir.
Of course. Only her would be like, yeah. I bet she probably found out like Mokou drank that shit, was like, you're telling me you just went to some fucking spiteful ass bitch who lives out in the fucking woods?
Right. She is a Lunarian. She's implied to be a Moekane, although never directly stated. She is the genius of the moon. She is one of the 4 known consumers of the Hourei elixir, meaning she is in fact immortal. When Kaguya was banished after drinking the Hourei elixir, Eirin was sent along with some other emissaries to retrieve her, but she felt so bad for her role in Kaguya being exiled that she was like, yeah, no, fuck it. I'm gonna kill all these emissaries, and you're coming with me. And by that, I mean they went to Gensokyo.
Mm-hmm.
She's not the only medical practitioner, but she's the best one. She has a protege that we will get to later. And the only thing that keeps her from being more like accessible, and the only reason why Gensokyo has any sort of illness at all, is because she's in the Bamboo Forest of the Lost.
Fair enough.
She is important to the backstory of one of the recent shooters because it is about the moon. She's in some of the endings for other characters who are relevant to her, but she herself has only been in her original game. Kaguya. I did not like any of her in-game portraits, so here's one of the manga's art depictions of her.
Alright, this bitch. Obviously based off of the actual Legend of Princess Kaguya. Bitch came out of a bamboo stick, something the moon, something. She just causes problems by existing, and she hates it. They're like, you gotta be a princess, and she's like, leave my ass alone. And then moon powers and probably flying, and I have a feeling she has something to do with size, because the original legend where she comes out of a fucking bamboo shoot.
Okay. Her powers are not immediately perceptible. So, she manipulates the eternity and the instantaneous. She
Zune, why?
For an extended period of time, she kept Inte, where she resides, in a period of eternal stasis. And her power was necessary to create the Hourei elixir, to create something eternal. So, extremely funny thing that Touhou establishes is that the reason for the impossible requests was not because they were super difficult to find. It's because she literally owned them. She literally owned like the fire rat's pelt and whatnot, and her new impossible requests after the events of her game include the seamless sealing of Kinkakuji, which probably gave anyone who actually played that game a heart attack, and also the Redstone of Asia, because fuck you, Zune is a JoJo nerd. She is... Her character's not super well defined, but she's known to be somewhat flighty. I'll get into this more later when there's characters who's more directly relevant for her, but she escaped from the moon because she thought there was going to be... Or no, not she escaped, but she was banished from the moon for drinking the Horai Elixir. But she is, like, very... I'll actually save this for when it's more important, because the way the moon works in Touhou is, like, fucking crazy.
The moon sounds like it's just a lot of problems, and everyone's in Gensokyo like, I can cause problems down here, and it'll be fine, since everyone has a way to fucking counter it.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. It is a lot.
And I imagine this bitch has been an enemy at least once, just because she simply causes problems by existing, it seems.
Yeah, she was a final boss, and basically her only appearances since then are relevant to 18. Amazingly, she was not playable, even though Mokou was. You know, memes. Let's see here. The Prismriver Sisters.
They're just a happy little merry band of bitches. Do they really have any significance? Maybe they're like an assist or side character or something. Yeah, I've only seen these bitches in Bad Apple. I don't know a damn thing about them. They strike me as side characters, and I can't wait to get to the bottom of this thing, and I want to say it's going to say irrelevant, and then you're going to be like, no, these bitches fucked up so much. Their music is probably magic, I imagine. Yep. Yep.
So they are poltergeists, so they can manipulate physical objects without touching them. But they use this to perform music. You know, you do what you gotta. You use what you got.
Telekinesis? No. It's hot fucking jams.
They are poltergeists created in the image of a girl's sisters. A girl by the name of Layla Prismriver. She, when her sisters died, she was so, unable to move on that she created the poltergeists and then just kind of fucked off. They perform as one of multiple music groups in Gensokyo. Another one with characters we will not be going over. They actually made a real death metal band in Gensokyo. Oh my god.
God bless them. God bless them, truly.
It's great. You can't really tell much about their characters, but you have to sort of interpret based on the music they play, where Merlin plays notes that make people kind of go stupid, go crazy. Lunasa plays notes that make people kind of sad and sleepy, and Lyrica plays notes that are supposed to basically sort of balance them out. And they make...
Lunasa listens to car seat headrest on the floor at 3 a.m. crying. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong, no. And their theme, Phantom Ensemble, is one of my favorites in the series, which is pretty fitting. They were one-time playables, but aside from that, are not super relevant.
Yeah, I was like, if they're on the playing field, they're gonna be like on the playing field as a trio, and I imagine it's a fun little setup.
They were all playable in a 1v1 shooter game, which is different from the fighters. But only one of them had like a proper story mode.
Fair enough.
Chen.
And God, I'm trying to think. I used to know shit about this bitch. She's a Nekomata. If I recall correctly, because she's got the little split tail. A mischievous little shit. She does a little trolling. She's probably got an abstract power that's a little bit menacing, but not severe. That's all I know about her. I've seen her a couple times, though. I used to have an MMD Oliver.
Okay, so Chen doesn't really have a specific power. She can, like, you know, she's got stuff where it's like, oh, I can, like, talk to cats. I can, you know, I'm a cat. I do cat things, but she does have some amount of sorcery. But it's only when she's possessed, because she is a Shikigami. She's a Shikigami of a Shikigami.
So she's just a bitch but different. Oh, that's right, Ron. Okay, yeah, because you know I noticed when I was watching Bad Apple not that long ago. I was like, I like it's the scene where it jumps through like 4 of the animal-eared characters, where it goes like Chen, Ron, Tui, and then I forget Undongi, the rest of Undongi's name. I just call her Undongin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, when it shows Ron, I was like, they just show the same bitch twice, and so that's just humoring to me. Cat girl moment, living in her cat girl fantasy.
Shikigamis are compared to supercomputers in universe, so there is something about that, but that is more applicable to Ran than it is to Chen. She wants her own servant of some kind. She tried to start a cat colony to find one, but she does not have the charisma or any sort of power to get people under her thrall.
Touhou characters where it's just like, I have great power. Can I use it and do anything right? No.
I am gay. I am homeless. I have AIDS. And I'm new in town.
These little gay bitches and their immortality and their weird abstract powers and their weird abstract supernatural species, and they're just like, yeah, I haven't been able to I could conquer great things. Can I? No, I'm kind of fucking stupid, or I don't have a good personality.
Touhou characters born after 2003 don't know anything. All they know is eat, hot chip, and lie.
They only know drink alcohol and lie.
Chen is often used as an attack of Yukari's. She will literally fling Chen and Ran at people. This is not a joke.
My god. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this bitch on the playing field, but I've seen her show up, you know. It's because she's getting fucking yeeted.
Yeah.
Show me the next cat girl.
Sorry. This is Ran.
She's a kitsune, and I feel like she's just, because she's literally just Chen the First. She's like if Chen actually had anything going for her beyond being a cat girl, I feel like. And I feel like this bitch likes to sleep. Something about her says, I like to sleep. Okay. Something about her says, just Chen, but a little more menacing.
You're kind of right, yeah. Let's see here. So
power's probably something with the moon or fire. Oh boy, I love when it's like none, just vague. She can do something.
Ran she's again, Shikigamis are compared to supercomputers, so she's got that going for her. She's got, like, you know, presumably some amount of magic and physical strength. I believe that was like talked about, but she doesn't have like a specific power that is to do something. But again, Chen is her Shikigami, and she can have Chen do things. I'm gonna be honest, I can't say much about her character because she has not like talked since she's not talked since like 2004 in official media.
Oh my god, this bitch be she gone. She's here, but she's gone.
She is very smart. Again, supercomputer. She's calculated the width of the Sanzu River. Do you remember what I said about the Sanzu River?
That's the Death River. That's basically the River Styx of Gensokyo.
Yeah, it does not have it does not have a width. It is based on Komachi's mood and other things about the spirits she's carrying.
Love that for.
So she just did that. And yeah, see Chen. Tewi.
Your typical moon rabbit character. She strikes me as someone one of her powers just has to be fast. She's just fast. She's a playable character. This I know. Related to Udongin somehow. There's that one oh god, there's an Iosis song that's like not Overdrive that's about this bitch that I have on my playlist.
Yeah, Overdrive is just like basically a YouTube poop of other Ainte related iOS stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, typical Moon Rabbit character that's kind of a duo thing with Udongin.
So Tewi is she has the ability to invoke good luck in humans. You know, rabbit's foot and all that.
Okay.
She is she's basically the leader of all Earth rabbits. She is potentially the white hair of Inaba. And she's extremely old. She is older than Reisen. She's a little shit. She pranks humans, she pranks Reisen. And she has sanctuary at Ainte in exchange for her controlling all the rabbits at Ainte.
Fair enough. She struck me as a little bit of a little shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's a little gremlin. One time she was a playable character, and aside from that, she's not super relevant. She's probably I didn't write this down, but she's probably in one of Reisen's endings at least. Reisen Udongin Inaba. I had to shrink the font to get the stuff fit.
Yeah, fucking yeah. I believe they are siblings, if I am correct. Now that I remember that she also has Inaba in the name. But Overdrive, Overdrive, yes. And if I recall, she's part of the easy mode meme.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's both her and Tui.
Yeah.
The easy mode. You're playing on easy mode.
Yeah.
Fucking. Basically, the more refined little shit of the two, but very much more catastrophic in power, I believe. Also a player character.
So Reisen is so she induces insanity via manipulation of brain light and sound waves.
That explains Overdrive being the way it is.
She yeah.
That's exactly what that song does to me.
The legend is that if you look into her eyes, you turn insane. She is a rabbit who fled from the moon when humans quote-unquote invaded. The Lunarians expected a war. So Reisen fled, because, like, I don't want to fight. I got a gun in my hand, but I don't want to fight. But good old Gnort's Mr. Alien just dropped a flag, and he's like, peace. So the Lunarians like, well, we're extremely militarized now. What do we do? But she since declared herself as a rabbit of the earth, spending so much time there and becoming tainted with the earth's quote-unquote impurity. Don't ask. She is trans as hell.
All right, let's fucking go.
She-
Zune said trans rights, baby.
I mean, I'm not talking like canon, but like look at that subtext. She's become a human of the. She's become a rabbit of the earth.
Yeah.
She was also
something trans allegory
extremely,
for sure.
Extremely. She's a medical student under 18. She was once the pet of the rulers of the moon, and they miss her so much that they named another pet after her.
What the fuck? It's just like, Udongi gone. Name another one after her.
Yes. She's basically become another player C rotation, and she's also in some of the fighters. Momiji.
Tiny.
Enough said. Sanae.
Sanae. I feel like I'm looking at her and my brain's like, something says she has a similar job to Hina, but I don't she's probably like, she has Shrine Maiden energy, so she's probably a protector of some place of some sort. Probably also has like blessing divine type powers of a sort, but also something strikes me as like medical about her because she's got that kind of snake where it's the, you know the hospital snake symbol.
Right. She has the power to invoke miracles. She also has the power to invoke the power of, wow, wording. She can invoke the power of her two goddesses as well. She is she's somewhere between a human and a demigod. She is divine in nature, but is still classified as human. She's human from the outside world. But the two goddesses decided, like, hey, let's move to a place where people actually believe in gods and where gods are important. So she just kind of got plucked along with them. And she's gone a little bit stir crazy. She is very eager to resolve incidents now. Kanako Yasuka and Suwako Moria.
The bitch on the right is responsible for Keto Destiny. Suwako is responsible for Keto Destiny. I don't know a damn thing about Kanako besides just they're pals. But yeah, no, I imagine part of me wants to think Suiko probably has rain-related powers because frogs and rain and whatnot, and Kanako strikes me as someone with moon power.
So, their powers are to create, quote, heavenliness and earthiness. These are based on something in Buddhism, I believe, and heavenliness is almost impossible to describe. Earthiness has at least been shown to be able to create rocks and shit, and like swim through the ground and create like lava and shit. But heavenliness is like, I can't fucking describe it, man. They are the two goddesses of the Moria Shrine. Suwako was originally its sole goddess, and then Kanako was like, hey, I want to fight you. And Suwako used metal rings to fight, and Kanako used her powers to rust it. But she's also kind of like, she's not lazy, but she has specific things she wants to focus on. So Suwako does a lot of the work, and Kanako does a lot of the front work. Kanako is basically the future's now, old man, and she wants technology, and she's like, hey, if you can give me worship in any way, I don't care how you do it, just do it. Suwako is very goofy. She's a frog. She
Keto bitch.
Yeah, she enjoys competition. She fight. Kanako, on the other hand, is a snake, which is why Sanae has the snake and the frog.
Ah, okay.
Suwako was playable in one of the fighters. And they also both exist as attacks that she can use alongside Sanae being a playable character, which means that you can summon Suwako against Suwako. Don't worry about it.
Smiley face, it's fine.
Also, Kanako caused Utsuho to eat the Yagarasu and gave her the power to manipulate nuclear fusion, which then caused her to decide to try to take over the world and or destroy the world. And her power then unsealed Byakuren Hijiri from her stasis, meaning she has directly caused 3 consecutive mainline games. Also, Byakuren existing caused religious issues, but that she was not directly the cause for 13. She was only the cause for the fighter that resulted.
God, Kanako really just be like, I'm just trying to do some work here, but also I'm gonna do so much work of like talking to people and getting to fucking bring me the future and worship me that she just causes problems indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, hit me with this bitch, player, character, and enemy. Menace. Wish I could remember anything else about her. Something about this bitch says severe, but then I'm gonna watch me be wrong. Watch a relevant come up right at the bottom. But yeah, I believe she's been both a player and enemy, and she is very much of significance. Powers, probably just some fucking like psychic bullshit where she's just like, I'm gonna just fucking explode so much shit.
So Yukari's power is the manipulation of boundaries. What does this mean? Whatever the hell she wanted to.
Zune moment.
She can manipulate the boundary between X and Y, and X and Y can be almost anything. The boundary between life and death manipulates that. Now mortals can go into the world of the dead. The boundary between right behind you and wherever I am right now, she can teleport. The boundary between the moon being real and the moon being fake, she can go through I forget what boundary she manipulated, but she was basically able to go to the moon through a reflection of the moon on the water. She is the capital G god in Gensokyo. She is
oh my god.
She's extremely old, she's extremely smart, she's exceptionally powerful. She is galaxy brain all the time. She basically the thing with Yuyuko is that basically Yukari wanted to steal something from the Lunarians and basically outplay them, because the Lunarians are basically holier than thou. You know, oh, I'm smarter than you, I'm stronger than you. And Yukari wanted to be like, okay, I want to do something that you can't explain. So she sent the main characters to the moon to both start an incident and also to resolve a different incident on the moon, to basically distract them, while Yuyuko used her power of being a ghost to steal something from them that Yukari would then present to the Lunarians to be like, hey, explain this. Yuyuko then stole something different because she knew it would piss Yukari off.
Mm-hmm. This bitch devious.
She do be devious, but she also is sleepy. She's the only character in the series to have the label of Phantasm Boss, the definition beyond Extra Boss. And also,
oh god, so like she's like, you have to be smoking crack to beat her, I take it.
In terms of difficulty, she's actually not like that high up in terms of like, oh wow, in terms of this boss is difficult, but the fact that she is labeled a Phantasm Boss and her Shikigami Ran is the Extra Boss, like, lore-wise, that says a lot about her.
Yeah, she's just like, you are going to have to bend over backwards and fucking suffer to even look at me.
She's not super common in the series, but she is a consistent show in the fighters. She's a one-time playable in a shooter, and she's pretty common in like the manga and such, but she's not like that frequent as a actual playable character.
This bitch got farming and rain and rainbows and sunshine. This bitch just there's nothing wrong with this bitch. She's fine. She's doing good. She's living her best life. She's just a humble farmer on her bullshit.
You got farming on
doing
the
her
mind today, huh?
Huh?
You got farming on the mind today, huh?
I don't know. Something because Gensokyo is a very like folky village. A lot of characters just strike me as farmer types. I don't know what it is.
Tenchi,
But like this bitch got peaches in her hair and she's got like what definitely looks like a more harvesty scythe if I recall correctly. I watch this bitch just be an Arshinigami.
So Tenchi, she can manipulate Earth, and her sword gives her the power to identify one's spirit and identify weaknesses and such. She is a Celestial, but specifically, she ascended alongside her parents to earn the title of Celestial, and she is a spoiled child.
She's caused problems on purpose.
Yes.
I'm like, this bitch is fine. She's living her best life. She's living her best life by being an asshole.
She basically caused earthquakes to destroy the Hakurei Shrine because she was bored. She does like mature through the series. One of the mangas, she becomes a secret keeper for a character, and she also befriends a character who has chronically bad luck. That is her power, and her natural good luck as a Celestial cancels it out. So she becomes friends with that person and her girlfriend, basically. But she's a little gremlin. She's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
She's in one of the recent fighters. And she was introduced in an earlier fighter.
She's just a little menace. This bitch does some writing. She strikes me as a record keeper, and she just something about her says like probably has a pretty cool power, but has to sit in an office writing shit down, and she's autumnal themed, so I don't know. She strikes me as having wind powers. If I recall correctly, she also has wings.
I believe I don't remember if her wings are actually canon or not, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
She come in.
Wind, yay!
She go fast. She's also one of the fastest things in Gensokyo. She might be the fastest, honestly. She's a Crotengu. She's a news anchor. She writes a newspaper. It is full of half-truths and lies. She has some amount of empathy, but not enough to not be a shitter. She does resent that the Tengu have a very rigid caste system, and she wants to live on her own terms and not what the Tengu have made for her. But she's in most cases a shitter, and I love her. She wrote there is an in-universe and also out-of-universe. I want to say it's like a light novel. I forget exactly what the form of media is, but it's called Alternative Facts in Eastern Utopia, which is Zune complaining about the Japanese government and its topics of like isolationism and how much it interacts with the outside world, and also American politics at the time, because hey, past 4 years have been pretty rough.
Yeah.
And it's basically her just being a bunch of basically about writing a bunch of leading questions and otherwise basically things that make people look really bad and really like it basically just like almost ruins the lives of everyone in Gensokyo until Yukari comes and says, hey, this is a problem, don't do this. Or not Yukari, I forget who calls her on her bullshit, but basically it's like, if you publish this, there will be a problem. She is a player D. She is a wild card.
That I knew. Yeah, that I knew.
She is a wild card that shows up like once or twice. She is a player D, although she also has her own games where she's the only playable character. Suika.
I love this bitch. She's just a regular ass Oni ogre type bitch. She's a raging fucking alcoholic. She has her own game where she was just the main antagonist because she was making people just like wildly party against their fucking will. And that's the most she has for her appearances, basically. And The Feast Never Ends is one of the best fucking Touhou fan songs. Period. Period.
Yeah. So she has the power to manipulate density. If things get more dense, they get hotter. If things get less dense, they get colder and also liquidy. She can turn herself into a bunch of mini copies of herself, or she can get very fucking big.
Fuck yeah.
She can also breathe fire. She's one of the big four of Yokai Mountain. We only know the identities of 3 of them. She's constantly drunk. Her gourd turns water into sake.
Love that.
She's not, despite her looks, she's not necessarily childish. I mean, she's always drunk, but she's like pretty mature. She's very physically strong. She's not the strongest, but like the stronger, the only other character who has like a defined quantity of strength that is stronger of her is another One. So, you know.
Yeah, I knew she was like fucking big, strong.
She's in the first 2 fighters. She's actually I say partner character. It's more of a shot type, since that's how that game does partners. She's a partner for Reimu in one of them, and she hangs around the shrine. She's a freeloader. Reimu has a bunch of freeloaders on her shrine.
Reimu's like, I'm sick of you bitches, and Suika's like,
what you gonna do about it?
Consider, shoddy, we can just get drunk. We can just fucking get drunk and turn up.
It's like, what you gonna...
Isn't that literally a side games plot she's in?
Yes, you described it to a T. She makes a never-ending feast, and everyone's like, hey, what are we gonna do about this? And Suika's final boss attack destroys the UI of the game.
Oh, I love her so much.
Alice.
Okay. This bitch is artificial, if I recall correctly. She's artificial. She has 2 dolls. I forget one of them's name, but the other is Shanghai. This the bitch behind the banger hit Marisa Stole the Precious Thing. She's kind of gay, I guess, for Marisa for whatever reason. Do be doing some secret keeping, I guess. Something strikes me about that. Her power has to do with her dolls, I'd imagine. Don't know what specifically it is, but yeah.
So, Alice, she's a magician yokai. She doesn't seem to have inherent power, but she has magic, and she's also an extremely skilled puppeteer. She has a lot of puppets, but Shanghai and Horai have sort of stuck as like her sort of familiars, even though they are still dolls at the end of the day. Because basically what happened is a bunch of her spell cards in the original game are dolls based on various parts of the world. You know, that's where the part in the song comes from. You know, Shanghai, 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 Horai, 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 Tibet, France, Kyoto, Russia, Orleans. You know, all that. All of her spell cards are different dolls. But Shanghai and Horai have just kind of stuck. Because I think they show up in her art in the fighters. And she also has a giant doll as well. A Goliath doll. She's very proud of her puppeteering. To the point of she uses her dolls to do her chores around the house, even though it doesn't save her any time or effort. She just does it because, like, you know, she's got that power. You know, she's got to flaunt it. She's reclusive but not unfriendly. You know, if anyone comes by her house and is lost in the forest, she'll give them shelter, but they'll usually run away because her house is a little off. She's a human turned yokai. There's some implications about her based on the fact that she is one of the few characters to carry over from pre-Windows era to Windows era, but that much is not generally acknowledged.
Player character at some point? ? If I recall correctly.
She was in the first 2 fighters. She was playable in a shmup, where she was paired with Marisa, and she has not been seen since.
Bring her back. She's iconic. So, fun fact about Alice. My cousin Marissa back when she was first getting into anime. You know how all kids are when they first get into anime, is they just look up anime girl and draw that shit.
Yeah.
From reference. She drew Alice basically without knowing it was Alice and sent it to my grandmother and basically had it addressed to me simply because I was a short blonde bitch who also liked anime, and our hair was roughly about the same looking at the time.
Oh my god.
It's folded up somewhere in my house. It's folded up somewhere in a bin somewhere in my house.
Next in line, Nitori.
Cucumber beer bitch. She strikes me as a merchant. Something about her is also like rain. I want to say something about her gives me Kappa energy.
You would be correct.
Yeah, yep.
She manipulates water. She's a Kappa. She used to be shy to the point of having the cloaking device from Metal Gear Solid, literally. The Kappas in universe are the leaders of technological development, although it's basically entirely based on what the outside world also has. But she once she was like pushed outside, she's like, oh, I'm a bitch now. She is very crass, she's very proud, and she's pretty racist to humans and also to yokai who are not Kappa for being technologically inferior and not as smart as the Kappa.
Kappa moment. I mean, Kappas are pretty... they mind their business until they don't, as far as I recall. So, makes sense.
Her super move in one of the fighters is literally Snake's Final Smash from Brawl. And the fighters are where she mostly resides. And, is that the end? I think that's the end, actually. Yeah,
damn,
I didn't cover the last couple of characters because I have nothing to say about them. Every character prior to Touhou 6 has, like, literally nothing to say about them. It made research for them very difficult. Try writing a Pokedex entry about a character who has nothing to say.
Yeah, I like... Fuck, what's that redhead bitch with, like, the military outfit that I was talking to you about one time, and I was like, who is this bitch?
Redhead?
I think...
Redhead?
She's Chinese.
Oh, Meiling?
Yes, Meiling, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, I was like, that's another one that I've just seen a lot of. Do I know a damn thing about her? No.
Meiling is very funny because, when she was in Touhou 6, and people didn't know whether to read her characters as Japanese or Chinese, and this discrepancy led to people just calling her China because she's very Chinese themed. And then Zune later just started calling her China as well. And she's in in the first fighter, she was a post-launch character in a patch, and she's the worst character in the game.
Oh my god, poor girl. Fuck. I'm trying to think of what other bitches I know. There's the bitch with the sunflower theme.
Yuko.
Yes.
Yuko. She's actually one of the last characters, but there's a little bit to say about her. But her power is manipulation of plants. She doesn't use this to fight, but she's extremely strong. Like, she's just a strong person.
Fair enough.
She is going to beat you to death.
She could just fucking slam and welcome to the jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start looking up characters that I have seen before that you didn't list off here, and then you can give me that. This bitch don't matter. This bitch do matter. Let's see. I love Yuka's fucking profile where it's like at least over 60, implied to be very old.
Yeah.
Let me just look up Touhou characters wiki. And just look these bitches up by photo. Cerno, how could we forget?
So Cherno, first of all, her name is pronounced Cherno, and I don't like it either, but it does lead to the best pun is that if she worked in a nuclear radiation facility, she'd be called Chernobyl.
She's
over 60.
Yes. implied to be over 60, though she's a child in yokai terms, so she's like one of the few canonical children, I guess.
I mean, well, child by yokai terms is like child in immortal terms.
Child in immortal terms, yeah, just... I can live forever. Yeah, you're only 60. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know nothing, bitch. You think you're grown. You're not grown in comparison to the rest of us. Yeah, fucking... What's her deal besides nuclear?
So Cherno is
Because why is she teaching a math class, you know?
So Cherno, she was just a character in... She's just a boss in one of the shmups, and you know what? Not much was thought of her. She's she's a fairy. She's not that smart. You know, she's got a blind spot in one of her attacks, but you know, it's whatever. And then one of the competitive shooters, or the only competitive shooter, the manual for such had one of those number to point on the screen graphs. You know, like number 1 player character, number 2 enemy character, number 3 lives, number 4 bombs. The number 9 with the circle around it was pointed to Cherno, and it just said idiot. And that just sort of that set off her association with the number 9. Happy belated Cherno Day, by the way, and also the fact that she is just stupid. She tried to sell water flavored shaved ice once.
Bimbo queen.
Yeah.
Dumb fucking idiot, bitch.
Yes.
Clown Piece.
So Clown Piece is a fairy. She invaded the moon, and she infected it with impurity. And she's dressed as the American flag because that is something that would piss off the people of the moon, because it's a sign of how humans won over the Lunarians.
God. I'm trying to look up other bitches. What the Okay, because I've seen this bitch's name a couple times. Hikacia Lapis Lazuli. What the fuck is this hoe wearing?
Okay. Hikacia is, I said Yukari is the closest thing to a capital G god. That's technically not true. Hikacia exists on a different power scale entirely. She, exists in, like...
Ruler of every hell? What the... Location hell?
Yeah.
What the...
There, not only is there a hell, there is a former hell.
Hell and hell and hell.
She is on a different scale entirely. If this is the character thing, it might actually not be. There's at least one character who exists on a different scale entirely because she exists simultaneously in every universe, and basically is in Gensokyo is implied to be basically a backwater, like a backwater universe, in the relative scheme of things. I'm pretty sure it's Hikashi I'm thinking of. And the moon, the Earth, and the Afterworld, those are represented by what she's wearing. And she has a t-shirt that says "Welcome to Hell."
Yeah, I was looking at her t-shirt and I was like, bitch, what is this fit? Ma'am, you look straight out of the fucking 2008 Scene Queens, like, type beat. What the fuck? Iku. I've seen this bitch a couple times.
Iku is sort of, she's a representative of the Orphish, or no, of the Dragon Gods. She's an Orphish yokai. She's also sort of become Tenchi's keeper. She can gain some of the powers of the Dragon Gods, which is used in, like, electric attacks. And she just has disco poses for reasons unknown.
Disco poses. God bless her. I'm looking up more bitches. I've yet to see a bitch that strikes me. Hey yo, they got a bitch in here named after the fucking Muse subunit Lily White.
So, Lily White is a fairy, and she exists to announce that spring is here. Does she bring spring when she does so? I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous. And she shows up as a mini-boss and just sprays Danmaku everywhere. And that is her saying, spring is here!
Spring's here, smiley face. Okay.
She does not
anything
have.
else?
She's so irrelevant that she does not have official Zoom style art.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, damn, this art looked nice. I wonder what her original art looks like. Nothing.
Yeah.
Orange?
Orange is a PC98 character, so I can't say anything about her, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was like, she just kind of looks like Meiling.
Apart from... She's the first stage boss of Lotus Lane Story, easily defeated because she's either a yokai or she's generally being a pain. Apart from this, there is nothing known about this character.
God.
That is true of 99% of PC98 era characters.
I'm sorry, there's a character called Three Mischievous Fairies. God bless them.
Oh, the Fairies of Light? Hold on.
Luna, Star, and Sunny.
Yes. They're the definition of what I mean by saying Zune makes his characters alcoholic. They're alcoholics.
They're just here to be problematic and useless and cause problems.
They're pretty stupid fairies who all have powers relating to light. Sunny can refract light to like make illusions. Luna Child can mute sound. And Star Sapphire has the ability to detect moving things.
Why is there 3 versions of Vivid? Who is this bitch?
Vivid is not a Touhou character. She's from a sister series known as Seiho. Seiho has only had 4 games, one of which is a Tetris 99 style April Fool's game. It is, quote, not a Seiho game, but it involves Vivid. It's called Vivid 99.
God. I'm looking at Yuki and I'm like, bitch, that's just Marisa.
Yeah, again, PC98 character. Yeah, Marisa looked different at the time, so, yeah.
Oh, just found Yomu's dad.
Yeah, Youmu Konpaku, no official appearance, and he basically just exists to be like, Yomu's dad was also half ghost. No, we're not going
There's
to There's
canonically a man in this series. Ta-da!
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think that's it. I think I've found every bitch I've seen. Unless there's like a bitch that I missed when I was looking at the list of people who are in Bad Apple earlier.
That was basically what I based this list on. Where it's just everyone who's in Bad Apple in order.
Oh my god. Baller. Damn, we did it. We beat Touhou by learning about Touhou.
We did it. We won the Touhou.
I now know Touhou.
I know now.
God.
Okay.
Why did I think Alice is artificial? There's nothing about her being artificial in her backstory.
So, it's... in the PC98 games, the final boss, Shinki, is noted to have created everything in Makai, which would imply that includes Alice.
Mm.
But while Alice directly refers to PC98 era when she shows up in Windows, saying like, "Oh, it's been a bit since I've seen you" and whatnot, she's also officially referred to as a human become yokai.
Mm. Interesting. You're gonna need to cut so much of that video because half of it's like me leaving.